Imagine a world where Superman is a curse, not a blessing, where his incredible powers are used to dominate, not to protect. From alternate universes to evil clones and corrupted timelines, today we're diving into every sinister Superman variant ever created. So without further ado, let's start. At number 10 is Kal-El Black Lantern. Superman is a formidable variant featured in the Blackest Night storyline. This character originates from Earth 2, where he was once the heroic Superman. After his death, Kal-El is resurrected by a Black Lantern ring, joining the ranks of the Black Lantern Corps, which is commanded by Nekron, the embodiment of death. His transformation into an evil being is triggered by his reanimation through the Black Lantern ring, which draws directly from the emotional spectrum related to D@H. One of Kal-El's most sinister actions as a Black Lantern involves launching brutal assaults on his former friends and allies to expand the influence and power of the Black Lantern Corps. In terms of powers, Black Lantern Superman retains many traditional abilities of the original Superman, such as super strength, flight, and durability. In addition, the Black Lantern ring grants him powers like necromancy and energy manipulation. These abilities enable him to wield death energy effectively, making him a unique and formidable opponent in the Blackest Night saga. At number 9 is the Last Sun Superman, also known as Kal-El of Earth 3, originates from the Earth 3 universe in the DC multiverse. In this universe, Kal-El's pod crash-landed on Earth 3, where he was raised with values that are the opposite of truth and justice. Instead of becoming a protector, he used his immense powers to dominate and instill fear. As the Last Sun, he is a terrifying enforcer of his will, leveraging his abilities for control rather than heroism. One of his most heinous acts involved wiping out entire cities to maintain his grip on power, showcasing his complete disregard for life and morality. In terms of powers, the Last Sun Superman possesses the same basic abilities as the original Superman, including super strength, flight, and heat vision. However, he uses these powers destructively, emphasizing domination and destruction. While his strength and speed are comparable to the original Superman's, his ruthlessness and willingness to kill make him even more dangerous. This version of Superman has appeared in major comic arcs such as JLA Earth 2 and Crisis on Infinite Earths. Next is Doomsday Superman from the Injustice Gods Among Us universe. In this alternate reality, Superman descends into tyranny after the tragic loss of Lois Lane at the hands of the Joker. Consumed by grief and rage, he abandons his moral compass and adopts a ruthless authoritarian stance, choosing to impose peace through fear and control. Doomsday Superman's transformation begins when he merges with the original Doomsday, a monstrous creature that matches Superman's strength. This fusion of Superman's powers and Doomsday's relentless nature creates a nearly unstoppable force, leading him to rule Earth with an iron fist. One of the most heinous acts committed by this version of Superman is his takeover of Earth, which includes executing members of the Justice League and causing widespread devastation to anyone who dares to resist. In terms of powers, Doomsday Superman is significantly stronger than the original Superman. While he retains his core abilities, such as super strength, flight, and heat vision, his new form renders him nearly indestructible, with regenerative abilities that allow him to heal from injuries at an astonishing rate. At number 7 is Superman from the Justice Lords. This is a variant from the Justice League animated series, specifically from the episode A Better World. In this alternate universe, Superman and the Justice League members take a darker path after a tragic event. When the Justice Lord's version of the Flash is killed by a villain, Superman and his counterparts decide that the only way to ensure peace is through absolute control. This shift in philosophy leads Superman to become a tyrant. Superman from the Justice Lords becomes evil as he abandons his ideals of justice, choosing to enforce order by any means necessary. The evilest act he commits is the execution of Lex Luthor, who tries to oppose the Justice Lord's reign. Superman takes full control of Earth, ruling with an iron fist and suppressing any form of rebellion. In terms of powers, this version of Superman is very similar to the original, retaining his super strength, flight, and heat vision. However, his actions become more brutal and oppressive. He leads his Justice League counterparts, making strategic decisions to maintain their regime, further defining him as a power-hungry leader rather than a protector. Next is Red Sun Superman is a variant from the Elseworld story titled Superman Red Sun. He comes from an alternate universe where Superman's spacecraft lands in Soviet Ukraine instead of Kansas. Raised under the ideals of communism, this version of Superman becomes a symbol of Soviet power, fighting for the spread of communism across the globe. In this alternate reality, Superman's strong belief in the Soviet system leads him to impose a totalitarian regime worldwide. His vision of peace involves suppressing individual freedoms, and the most troubling aspect of this variant is his enforcement of authoritarian control. He strips citizens of their individuality and opposes anyone who dares to resist his regime, including those who challenge his idea of a utopia. In terms of powers, Red Sun Superman possesses abilities similar to the original Superman, including super strength, flight, and heat vision. However, in this context, his powers are applied in a more strategic and brutal manner to maintain control over the world. His significant battles include fighting against freedom fighters and ultimately clashing with the original American Superman, as their opposing ideologies drive their conflict. At number 5 is Superboy Prime. He is a variant of Superman from the Earth Prime universe, a reality where the heroes are just comic book characters. Unlike the main Superman, Superboy Prime is a version of Clark Kent who grows up with powers similar to those of the original Superman, but in a world without any superheroes. His journey to evil begins when, after the events of Crisis on Infinite Earths, Superboy Prime is trapped in the Earth Prime dimension, feeling isolated and resentful. Eventually, he becomes consumed with rage and a desire to force the world into his image of what it should be, eventually leading to his villainous acts. Superboy Prime becomes evil after he's manipulated by his anger and frustration, starting with his role in destroying the Earth Prime version of the Justice League and seeking to reshape reality. The most evil act he commits is fighting against the Justice League and the Teen Titans in his quest for power, showing no regard for human life or morality. In terms of powers, Superboy Prime is significantly stronger than the original Superman. His abilities are enhanced, including greater strength, speed, and stamina. Next, we have Injustice Superman. He is a variant from the Injustice Gods Among Us universe, a darker, alternate reality within the DC multiverse. In this world, Superman becomes a ruthless tyrant after the Joker tricks him into killing Lois Lane, his wife, and detonates a nuclear bomb in Metropolis. Consumed by grief and rage, Superman abandons his ideals of justice and begins enforcing a strict authoritarian regime, believing that peace can only be achieved through fear and absolute control. What leads him to become evil is his belief that the world needs to be ruled with an iron fist to prevent further tragedies. The most evil act he commits is the brutal execution of the Joker, followed by his widespread campaign to subjugate the planet, including killing those who oppose him, like Batman and members of the Justice League. Alongside the dark side, in terms of powers, Injustice Superman is similar to the original Superman, with super strength, speed, and flight. However, his powers are amplified by his unchecked anger and determination, making him more aggressive and dangerous. At number 3 is Ultram Man, Earth 3. He is a villainous version of Superman from the Earth 3 universe, which is a twisted reflection of the main DC universe. Unlike the original Superman, Ultraman's origins are rooted in the opposite values of truth and justice. As a child, Ultraman's pod crash-landed on Earth 3, where he was raised by the government and became a symbol of power rather than hope. Instead of following a moral compass, Ultraman is driven by a desire for control and dominance, using his incredible abilities for personal gain. Ultraman becomes evil as he embraces a ruthless, authoritarian approach to ruling Earth 3. His actions are driven by the desire to impose his vision of order, regardless of the cost. The most evil act he commits is leading the crime syndicate, a villainous team, in a full-scale takeover of Earth 3, conquering the world with fear and violence, showing no regard for innocent lives. In terms of powers, Ultraman possesses the same abilities as Superman, including super strength, flight, and heat vision. However, his powers are fueled by kryptonite, making him much stronger and more dangerous when in proximity to this substance. Next is the Superman of Deceased. He is an alternate version from the Deceased universe, a darker reality within the DC multiverse. This Superman story begins when a mysterious anti-life virus, which spreads through a digital signal, infects Earth's heroes, turning them into mindless, bloodthirsty monsters. As a result, Superman becomes corrupted by the virus and ultimately succumbs to the chaos it creates. Driven by the virus's influence, he loses his moral compass and starts to act more violently. What leads him to become evil is the overwhelming influence of the anti-life equation. The most evil act this version of Superman commits is leading a rampage against humanity, alongside other infected heroes, spreading the virus and exterminating most of the population. He no longer holds the values of justice and protection, but embraces destruction. In terms of powers, the deceased Superman retains his classic abilities super strength, flight, heat vision, and invulnerability, but they are enhanced by the virus. His powers make him an even more dangerous adversary, and his emotional detachment makes him an unstoppable force. Key battles occur against the remaining heroes, highlighting his transformation into a terrifying villain. At number 1 is adult version of Superman. In the 2005 comic Superman, Batman number 14, there is an adult version of Superman who exists as a twisted variant from an alternate universe. In this reality, a trio of villains known as Cosmic King, Lightning Lord, and Saturn Queen from the Legion of Supervillains conspired to ensure that the Justice League never formed. They traveled back in time to eliminate the greatest heroes of the 21st century, establishing a world where they could rule without opposition. In a particularly malevolent act, these villains raised both Bruce Wayne and Kal-El from the very moments of their origins, twisting their minds from the start. The most heinous action committed by this version of Superman is his betrayal of Earth's heroes, culminating in his conflict with the Justice League. He brutally kills other heroes, wielding his powers to instill fear and dominate the universe. This Superman maintains all the traditional abilities, such as super strength, flight, and heat vision. However, under the influence of Cosmic King, Lightning Lord, and Saturn Queen, his powers are employed destructively. Thanks for watching the video. Comment down below. What do you think of our list evil Supermans, and let us know.